What is going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to show you a sports betting strategy that has made me over $50,000 in profit. And this is a strategy that can make you $1,000 per month guaranteed betting on the NFL or college football. And this is a strategy called correlation. It is so simple yet so powerful. And 99% of people who are betting on sports are not using this strategy, even though it is literally so easy. So in this video, I'm not going to hold anything back. I'm going to share with you all the sauce. Let's get right into it. So first things first, this is a parlay strategy, and we are going to be using the app or website called PrizePicks. If you guys don't know what PrizePicks is, it's just a sports betting website where you choose more or less on a player's stats. So for example, is Aaron Rodgers going to have more or less than 232.5 passing yards? Then you just combine these with other players and you get a certain payout. So for example, 2 players more or less pays out 3x if you get it right. If you get 4 people's right, then it's a 10x payout and so on. I'm sure most of you guys know how PrizePicks works, so we're going to get right into the strategy. So first things first, let me say this, guys. This is the only strategy that you should be using on PrizePicks 99% of the time. If you're not using PrizePicks like this, if you're not doing this strategy, you are not doing PrizePicks right, and you will 100% lose money over the long term. I don't care how good you think you are. I don't care how profitable you think you are at PrizePicks. There's a 99% chance that you have not made money on this website, and I'm going to expose how everyone on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube is making money, including me, sports betting on PrizePicks. So what do I mean by correlation? Correlation, this word is super important. It means that the things inside of your parlay on PrizePicks are connected. When one thing happens, another thing is going to happen most of the time. So this is the most simple example, dead simple example. Anybody can understand this. We took Aaron Rodgers to go over his passing yards tonight in the game versus the 49ers. Then we took his wide receiver on the exact same team to go over the receiving yards, Garrett Wilson. Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback and he is throwing to Garrett Wilson, his wide receiver. So if Aaron Rodgers goes over his passing yards, let's say he gets 300 passing yards, then it makes sense that Garrett Wilson is probably going to go over his receiving yards, right? Because the quarterback is throwing to the wide receiver. This is called correlation. These two things are correlated. When X happens, Y happens. And it is the exact same thing with this stack right here. These two players, the quarterback with the wide receiver, are called stacks, correlated stacks. If Brock Purdy goes over his passing yards, 237, then it makes sense that Deebo Samuel is going to go over 50.5 receiving yards, guys. This is correlation. This is a good slip on PrizePicks. Let me show you an example of what a bad slip is, guys. And most of you guys, if you're watching this, are probably playing slips like this and you have no idea that it is bad. So first of all, stop using this last 5 game garbage. This stuff is not going to help you guys. This stuff is completely irrelevant and it will not help you make money. A lot of people say, hey, Mookie Betts went over his hitter fantasy score in 4 of his last 5 games. Then in this game, he got 28. He's a lock to go over. I'm going to choose his more. Guys, this thing is not put here to help you guys. They already have these stats. PrizePicks already knows this, and the odds makers, when they set this line, they already know what happened in the last 5 games. These stats are not a key to help you win. These are put here as a distraction to make you think that they matter. In reality, this line, 8.5, they already took in all this information, including the lineups, the weather, his last 5 games, his stats against this team, and they made this line around 50-50. So here's an example of another one. Gunnar Henderson, over 9 hitter fantasy score. As you can see, he went over in 4 of his last 5 games, going over by quite a bit. In these last games, he got 20. Now his line is set at 9. Just because he had these games at 17, 20, and 20 doesn't mean he's going to go over again, guys. This thing is completely irrelevant. This is only here to take your money, and if you follow this, you will 100% lose money in the long run. Another way to lose money in the long run is if you're not playing correlation, like I just said. Let's say I go over to the WNBA and I start building out my slip. I start looking at these last 5 games. I see Breanna Stewart over 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I choose more. I see Alana Smith, fantasy score, and I choose her under because, well, she went under in her last 5 games, so she's going to go under again, right? And then I choose Breanna Stewart. I look at her last 5. And she's gone over, so I choose her over. And then I go over to the MLB, and I start looking at strikeouts. I see Christopher Sanchez. He's gone over in his last 3 games. I'll choose his over. And then I see Paul Skeens, 7 pitcher strikeouts. And I see he's gone under in his last 2 games, so I choose his under. Guys, this is a terrible slip. Why? Because there's zero correlation between any of these outcomes. If Paul Skeens goes under his pitcher strikeouts, it has nothing to do with Christopher Sanchez going over. It has nothing to do with any of these WNBA picks. None of these things are correlated, guys. This is a terrible slip, and PrizePicks, they love this because you will lose money over the long term betting on this 99.99% of the time. Here's an example of a really good slip, guys. We have Bryce Young to go under his passing and rush yards. He went under by a lot. Then we have his wide receiver on the same team, Deontay Johnson, to go under his receiving yards. If Bryce Young goes under his passing and rushing yards, it makes sense that his wide receiver is not going to go over his receiving yards. Here we have the exact same thing. We have Bo Nix to go under his passing and rushing yards. And then we took his wide receiver, Courtland Sutton, to go less than his receiving yards. We cashed out inside of my Discord. I sent this play to over 50 VIP members. We turned $50 into $500 just by using this simple correlation, guys. Please stop placing these garbage slips with things that have nothing to do with each other. Stop using these last 5 stats. They will never help you. And I'm just going to give it to you straight, guys. If you're doing stuff like this, you are not a winner on PrizePicks, even if you think you are. And if you guys don't believe me, all you have to do is go over here to the top right, press live support. You can actually message support and ask them what your profit loss is, meaning what are your net winnings over the long term. And if you play like this and you don't use correlation, I bet there's a 99.99% chance that you are a losing player, because that is how PrizePicks makes money. They make their money off of people who don't know these strategies like correlation. Now, of course, correlation is not going to work every single time. Just because a quarterback goes under his passing yards, it doesn't mean that the wide receiver is always going to go under his receiving yards and vice versa. Here we have Geno Smith to go under his passing yards, and he ended up getting 201. And then we chose DK Metcalf, his receiver, to go under 59.5. We cashed out on this stack it. But then we had Jaden Daniels to go under his passing and rushing yards here, and Terry McLaurin, his wide receiver, to go under. The under on the wide receiver cashed easily, but unfortunately, Jalen Daniels, he threw to some other people, and he had a lot of rushing yards, and he ended up going over. So guys, correlation is not 100% guaranteed. I'm not saying you're going to hit every single slip. I'm not saying you're not going to lose ever. Of course, you're going to lose a lot of slips, and that's just how PrizePicks is. You only have to win around 10% of these slips to break even over the long run. Because remember, guys, these are 10x parlays. They pay out 10x. So if you win more than 1 out of 10, you're going to be profitable over the long run. And that is one of the most important things that I've said in this video. A lot of people, they get discouraged because they start losing these slips, and they don't realize you only have to hit a small amount of these slips to be profitable. I'm going to scroll through my PrizePicks. As you can see, I've lost a shit ton of these slips, guys. We lost this one. We got super close. We lost like 10 in a row here, but guess what, guys? When you win these slips, they make up for all the losses, and they actually put you in profit. If I played 20 slips and I only hit 3 of them, that's 3x, which is 30x, minus 20 losses. That equals 10x in profit, guys. So for example, if I send out 20 slips in the Discord, only hit 3 of them, that means we are now up 10x. Here's another example of a loss that we took yesterday. We had Matthew Stafford to go over his passing attempts, and then we had Kyren Williams to go under his rushing attempts. These two things are correlated because if the quarterback throws for a lot of passing attempts, then it makes sense that the running back is not going to have a lot of rushing attempts. Then we had this quarterback on Marquette to go over his passing yards and the wide receiver to go over his receiving yards. Again, pretty simple correlation there. Unfortunately, Kyren Williams, he ended up going over his rushing attempts, but we got super close. He only went over by 3. This is an example of the type of correlation that I like to play, and the correlation that is going to make you a profitable player on PrizePicks. If you guys are skeptical as to whether the strategy actually works, or you want to see proof that this actually works over the long term, this is not even all the slips that I've hit this year. We have made over $176,000 in gross winnings on PrizePicks at around a 20 to 30% profit margin, meaning I'm around $50,000 in profit all time on PrizePicks. And as you can see, guys, I only joined in December of 2023. It's only been around 10 months. This is the exact same strategy that any good PrizePicks players will show you, and I've literally had to recycle through multiple accounts because I keep getting banned or limited on PrizePicks. Correlation is not just an NFL thing. There's also correlation in esports and soccer, but I explained that in other videos. I honestly don't have time to explain it in this video. The video would be 30 minutes long if I went into my entire process for making money on PrizePicks. But if you guys want to get all of my slips that I play on PrizePicks, I will leave a link down to my VIP plays in the description. I literally send out every single pick that I put in on PrizePicks to my VIP members. I already have 50 members right now. We are growing super rapidly. You guys don't want to miss out because PrizePicks, they're not going to let this strategy get taken advantage of forever. Sooner or later, they're going to ban this strategy or make the payout so bad that it's not even worth it. So I suggest that you guys hop on now. Again, the link is going to be down in the description for all my plays. Take care, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.